I feel like as we're getting closer and closer.
Family of a murdered pregnant woman in Lexington hope police will soon catch her killer after new details are released about the investigation.
Because we have to stop the pipeline of poison into our communities.
The message from U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch as she brings her fight against heroin overdoses to central Kentucky.
And protesters demanding justice tonight in Tulsa, Oklahoma, following the shooting death of another unarmed black man. We have the latest on the investigation.
This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. Another hot one today, and temperatures are trending up towards the end of the week.
So how long will we be stuck in this summer pattern? We begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and your no-wait forecast.
Guys, it just rolls on, doesn't it? September sizzle has at least a few more days left in the tank. Late evening temperatures have dropped into the low and mid 60s across most of central and eastern Kentucky. 64 in Lexington, and we put a little more sizzle into the forecast for the day tomorrow. We are into the upper 80s, may tickle 90 on a few thermometers into central and western parts of the area especially. One of the reasons we are seeing this big heat spell here in September, area of high pressure right on top of the Ohio Valley, and it isn't budging. It isn't moving very much at all. One of the reasons for that, this low pressure center that is off the North Carolina coastline, it was Tropical Storm Julia, it is still there. And you know what it's doing? It's throwing up a big stop sign to everything else that is coming in from the west. So the pattern is backed up. The roads are closed from the weather world. Nothing can work into the eastern part of the country right now. So we're basically seeing the same old, same old. However, coming up at 11:13, we've got an hour-by-hour forecast, both short-term and longer-term. Guys, some hints of fall air finally start to show up in that longer-term hour-by-hour forecast coming your way in a matter of minutes.
Chris, thank you. Tonight, we have some newly released information about the shooting death of Mariah Coleman.
The pregnant woman was gunned down while walking her dog nearly 2 weeks ago in the Winburn neighborhood. Doctors delivered her baby, but could not save the baby or the mother. Tonight, police released some new details about the investigation, including the description of a man seen running from that area the night of the shooting. Monique Blair has our top story at 11.
Lexington police say they believe Mariah Coleman was an innocent bystander when she was shot while out walking her dog about 2 weeks ago. Now, Mariah Coleman's family says they hope this new information means an arrest will soon be made.
The mother deserves to know whether it was an accident, whether it was on purpose. The mother deserves to know.
It has been a tough couple of weeks for Perry Wooldridge and his family as they try and understand why 22-year-old Mariah Coleman, who was 8 months pregnant, was shot in her back, while police say she was not the intended target.
We're always going to have that void there because, you know, we're not going to be able to get her back. We're not going to be able to know what baby Jacoby's, you know, his first steps, you know, we're not going to be able to see those.
According to police, witnesses say shortly after the shooting there was a young black man with dreadlocks who had a cast on his arm seen running from the scene after the shooting. A gun was also found near that scene and has been sent off for testing to determine if it's related to the case. Wooldridge believes police are going to catch the killer soon.
As these weeks pass, as these days pass, as these hours pass, they're not going to have long to hide in the shadows or to, you know, to creep around. It's justice is coming.
Now again, Lexington police have not named any suspects in this case, but they are asking for anyone who may know anything about what happened the night Mariah Coleman was shot to come forward. In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Police believe multiple people were involved in this incident, and although they are looking for one person, they are still trying to figure out exactly how the shooting started in the first place.
New at 11, a retired law officer faces sex abuse charges in Woodford County. Versailles police arrested 76-year-old Donald Drury today. According to his arrest citation, Drury is a retired Kentucky vehicle enforcement officer. Drury is accused of touching himself inappropriately in front of a 14-year-old boy. Versailles police say at least 3 incidents were documented on a calendar in Drury's home. Drury is also accused of having oral sex with a 15-year-old boy and recording it on his phone.
His family says he was just doing the job he loved when tragedy struck. A tow truck driver after he was hit last night along the Mountain Parkway in Powell County. The sheriff's office says that Mark Banks was on the side of the road loading a car when the crash happened. Logan Banks said his stepson was always careful.
He wore his vest after dark. He done everything by the book. He wasn't only my stepson. He was my best friend.
Banks had just taken over his business from his father a few years ago. He leaves behind 2 daughters. The driver who hit Banks is still recovering in the hospital. New tonight, an update on a Lexington man who was pinned between 2 trucks on New Circle Road last week. Tonight, Lyle Adams' wife tells us he went through major surgery Monday to repair his pelvis, and the surgeons at UK Hospital, she says, are pleased. She says day by day they are doing all right. Lyle Adams was in charge of Shuffle Bean Coffee in Lexington and was near the end of his training for an Ironman competition. It's a public health crisis. Heroin overdoses are skyrocketing in many states, including right here in Kentucky.
Tonight, those on the front lines of the fight against heroin heard from the U.S. Attorney General. Loretta Lynch spoke to police, medical professionals, and community leaders at UK. As Garrett Weimer reports, Lynch said change will take more than just talking about the problem.
In her speech at UK, U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch called opioid and heroin abuse a scourge and an epidemic.
We are focusing our enforcement efforts on this problem because we have to stop the pipeline of poison into our communities.
Lynch says there isn't just one way to fight it, needing enforcement, prevention, and treatment.
We cannot prosecute our way out of this problem because in so many cases, it isn't trafficking rings that introduce a person to opioids. It's the household medicine cabinet.
In a panel discussion after the Attorney General spoke, Lexington Police Chief Mark Barnard said his department has assigned 2 more detectives solely to heroin cases and overdoses, as well as working with drug users' families.
We have to have a holistic approach. There has to be an educational component for children. They have to be aware of really what's happening. This, if you think about it, in the last 4 years, this has hit us pretty quick.
Officials agree the stakes are high as more people die from overdoses every day.
This is a fight that we have to win because this is not a problem that we can live with. This is not a problem that we can tolerate. This is a problem that must be solved.
Attorney General Lynch told the crowd it's a problem that will be solved. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Lynch says that in 2015, 1,200 Kentuckians died from drug overdoses, a nearly 15% increase from 2014. Before speaking at UK, Attorney General Lynch spoke at Madison Central High School about the dangers of addiction. 600 students from Madison Central, Madison Southern, and Richmond Model attended the discussion. There have been 30 overdose deaths so far this year in Madison County.
There are growing calls for justice in Oklahoma after the police shooting of an unarmed black man. Protesters took to the streets of Tulsa tonight, calling for the officer involved to face charges. CBS's Don Champion has the latest.
Fire! Fire! Protesters in Tulsa, Oklahoma demanded justice Tuesday night in the Terrence Crutcher case.
We can no longer be silent. No. We can no longer sleep.
Many called his death proof of a systemic problem with police use of deadly force. Crutcher was killed Friday by Officer Betty Shelby as she responded to his stalled SUV. Video from police shows he had his hands in the air before he was killed. Officer Shelby's attorney claims Crutcher was shot when he reached in his vehicle.
He looks at her and his left hand breaks the plane of where the window would be as if he's reaching in. And at that time, she fired one shot. She was in fear of her life.
But attorneys for Crutcher's family challenged that claim Tuesday. They maintain these stills from the video show Crutcher's window was up.
How could he be reaching into the car if the window is up and there's blood on the glass?
Tulsa police say they found a vial of the drug PCP in Crutcher's SUV after the shooting. The Justice Department is investigating. Don Champion, CBS News, Dallas.
Another officer used a taser on Crutcher seconds before he was shot. The officer who opened fire is now on paid leave. Federal prosecutors have now charged a man with planning a series of bombs in New York City and New Jersey. Ahmed Khan Rahami faces 4 counts, including use of a weapon of mass destruction. Rahami was captured Monday after being wounded in a gunfight with police. Investigators say that he planted 2 bombs in Manhattan on Saturday night. One went off, injuring 31 people. Another bomb exploded in New Jersey, and more explosives were found in a trash bin by a train station.
New tonight, a Perry County family is out of their home after a fire burned it to the ground. The fire started about 5:30 tonight in the Viper community. Firefighters were quick to the scene, but ran into a roadblock.
They almost had it under control, and they ran out of water. And the water hydrant, they said the city had the water hydrants turned off.
The assistant fire chief says he is not sure why the hydrant was turned off. The family of 4 does have insurance. There's no word yet on what caused the fire.
New at 11, a man accused of trying to scam Lexington businesses out of money is in jail tonight. Police arrested Kenneth Roth on theft charges unrelated to the scam. Police say he recently went to several businesses in town and told them he was collecting money for various charities, including United Way of the Bluegrass. United Way's president told us his organization does not go door to door for donations.
We have workplace campaigns. So we actually meet with a group of employees. We don't meet with employees on a single or individual basis. So it's extremely difficult, almost impossible for someone to fraudulently take money from the United Way.
Police do not think Roth received any money from his soliciting.
Many customers considered him a friend. In 9 minutes, find out how they are now planning to raise money for a Lexington gas station clerk shot during a robbery.
And an accidental phone call leads to voicemail confessions. Now police have some extra evidence in an investigation.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Well, another very warm September day in the books across central and eastern Kentucky. Stop me if you've heard that one before, and it only gets a little toastier as the week wears on. I think we've got another 90 at least in the tank before we get to the weekend. Late evening temperatures really not that bad across most areas. A lot of low and mid 60s showing up into central and eastern Kentucky. 64 Lexington. Hello Danville, 63 your current temperature. 64 into Somerset. Good folks into Mount Sterling checking in at 63 degrees. Broaden out the view across the entire Ohio Valley, and where the air is coming from right now is still not that bad. Over the next few days we're going to see that flow switching around just a little bit to the west and the southwest as this high pressure continues to slowly pull its way toward the southeast. It's not budging. It's going to hang tough across the eastern part of the country for the next several days. So rolling our way into the middle of the work week. Hello Wednesday, 87, 88 degrees tomorrow afternoon. At this point, why not add a degree or 2 on there? Just go for 90 with a mix of sun and some high clouds. A lot more sun than clouds. You know, this kind of hot and dry pattern we are in, not that good for ragweed sufferers. And guess what the major pollen of the day is for the next 3 days? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's right, into the high category for ragweed. So pollen sufferers, not a good time of the year. I'm more of a spring guy myself, but I know a lot of folks, I'm not mentioning Amber's name right now, that suffer from ragweed. We go through the day tomorrow, and we will see temperatures in the morning down into the 60s. Tomorrow afternoon into the mid-80s. This is the hour-by-hour forecast that has 0 change in it. Let's go through Thursday. Can you find anything different from what we're showing for tomorrow? Okay, let's try Friday. Let's see if we can find anything different on Friday. 60s in the morning, by the afternoon, mid and upper 80s. Mostly sunny skies. Told you it's a boring pattern over the next few days. Boring those good if you're heading out to Commonwealth Stadium on Saturday, though. Toasty temperatures at tailgate. Mid-80s will transition to upper 70s at kickoff around 7:30. For the drive home, we're dropping it into the 60s, breezy and nice weather. Here's the weekend hour by hour with some changes that roll into early next week. Watch the timeline. Here we go for Saturday night into Sunday morning. You get a cold front in here, but boy, it does not get all the way through the state. And as a matter of fact, it's going to put the brakes on. And Sunday afternoon, we're going to warm it up again from west to east. And it's a bubble of warmth that moves in on Monday ahead of a stronger push of cool air. Monday afternoon can see temperatures deep into the 80s again. And the models right now suggest this front slams in here with some showers and thunderstorms, and boom, some cooler air, maybe. Just maybe. It's 7 days away by Tuesday. of next week. If you're like me at this point, you're like, I believe it when I see it. I do think it's our best chance we've had so far this September. Not that we've had many.
How bad are your allergies?
Ragweed is wearing me out.
I didn't mean to call you out.
Well, no, it's okay.
It's out now.
It's out, yep.
Thanks, Chris.
Days after a deadly crash, people who live along a busy Scott County road say changes need to be made.
The story ahead in 5 minutes on WKYT.
With the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
A fundraiser will be held this weekend to help the family of a gas station clerk shot during a robbery. That shooting happened Saturday night at the Marathon on Lansdowne Road. 49-year-old Charles Moore is still at UK Hospital recovering from several gunshot wounds. Moore is a veteran. Customers say he was more than just a clerk.
It's like something's missing because he's not there to joke with you. He's not there to talk to you. He listens to you too. If something's going on, he's concerned. He listens to you, and now we're concerned for him.
The fundraiser will be held at the Marathon Station Saturday morning at 10. All proceeds will go to help pay for Moore's medical bills. Police have not made any arrests in the shooting.
This is a strange one. Police investigating a shooting in an eastern Kentucky community have a break in the case tonight, and it's all thanks to a wrong number and a bizarre voicemail.
He dials the number by mistake, and the lady didn't answer the phone, and he left a voice message, and he identified himself and identified who the person he shot.
The Williamsburg woman who received the voicemail went to police. The number was traced back to Leslie County. Deputies there are working a shooting from Sunday. The victim was shot in the foot. Investigators are now taking the voicemail confession to a grand jury to decide if charges should be filed. People who live along a busy stretch of highway in Scott County want changes after a deadly crash. A woman died Friday on US 25 north of Georgetown near Moon Lake Estates. Her car collided with two garbage trucks. Neighbors say the road is too small for the big trucks and close calls are daily occurrences.
The worst part is coming around the curves because you never know. I mean, I've almost been hit I don't know how many times.
The sheriff says he plans to talk to the mayor and judge executive about the road concerns. It's a state road, so any changes to speed limits or expansion would have to go through Frankfort first.
Replacements of Samsung's Galaxy Note 7 will be available tomorrow. Regulators recalled the smartphone last week after dozens of people reported that the Note 7 caught fire while charging. Samsung also suspended sales of the phone earlier this month. The fires were traced to a battery problem. Replacement phones will be available at most retail locations.
Just ahead, the Cats practicing without quarterback Drew Barker, Rob.
Well, as Barker is evaluated, offensive coordinator Eddie Grand saying Steven Johnson's the guy. We'll hear what Johnson had to say after practice today, and Grand talks about the backups, Gunnar Hoke and Luke Wright. Stay with us. Sports is next. Quarterback Drew Barker sidelined with a bad back. He sees a specialist tomorrow. So Steven Johnson is taking the first team snaps as Kentucky gets ready for South Carolina. Johnson came through in a big way Saturday as he replaced Barker after the opening series. The JUCO transfer throwing for 310 yards, and the Cats put up 62 points. Today, he said he was nervous coming into the game, but now getting ready as the starter, not a whole lot different than getting ready as the backup.
Not so much. Probably not. It probably feels just about the same. Just trying to prepare like I've been preparing. I definitely had jitters early in that last game. I know those first two incomplete passes were just big mistakes on my part, obviously. But I think I had to settle down, trusting the playmakers I have on the field and on my team. Like you said, settle in.
Now, as for the backup to Johnson, offensive coordinator Eddie Grand says freshman Gunnar Hoke out of Dublin, Ohio, and transfer Luke Wright, who came in from Cincinnati, are both getting ready.
Right now, Gunnar's going right now and getting the backup work. Luke is ready to go. Has done a great job. He's, I think, mentally especially, and you know, it's really close between the two of them, and so both of them got to be ready. Just like Landon Young was ready, just like Benny Snell was ready. Those two right now have to be ready to come in and play.
So it is South Carolina up next. Commonwealth Stadium Saturday night, 7:30 kick on the SEC network. The Chicago Bears, hit hard by injury in last night's loss to the Eagles, included his linebacker Danny Trevathan. He suffered a sprained thumb. He is scheduled to undergo surgery tomorrow. And the Colts have released former Wildcat Winston Guy. Guy played in both games this season. He had 4 tackles. He had been with the Colts since 2014, a 6th-round pick of the Seahawks in 2012. Guy also played for Jacksonville. More than 3 days since the Lafayette-Scott County game was suspended due to weather, the KHSAA has made its ruling on the winner. Lafayette has been declared the 1-0 winner via a Scott County forfeit. With 11:04 left in the third quarter, play was stopped and the Generals wanted to continue. Scott County said completing the game that night was not an option. Also, the two schools could not agree on finishing the game Saturday. The KHSAA says Scott County violated the contract by not continuing the game, hence the forfeit. Rick Stansberry at Western Kentucky has added another high-profile recruit. 4-star wing Josh Anderson is committed to the Toppers. With the addition of Anderson, Scout now ranks the Western class number 5 in the country. And Scott Strickland reportedly has been extended an offer to be the athletic director there. He is currently Mississippi State's AD. Strickland, who grew up in Paintsville and is a Mississippi State graduate, would replace Jeremy Foley, who is retiring. Strickland is said to have turned down Florida initially, but the school came back with another offer the last few days. The deal, a source said, was for at least $1 million and could be upwards of $1.4 million. Strickland made about $500,000 at Mississippi State. And of course, he was at UK at one time as Media Relations Director. We'll be right back.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is less than 1 minute away here on WKYT, and tonight's guests include First Lady Michelle Obama.
Chris, our emojis are really getting the summer workout extended, right?
They are. You know what? They're putting the sunglasses to good use again tomorrow, upper 80s. Focusing on the weekend forecast, mid, maybe a few upper 80s on Saturday, a little better on Sunday, but notice both days emojis are smiling. Got the shades on.
That's tailgating weather. I like it.
That is.
Ready to wear mine on Saturday.
Yep, me too.
Thanks for watching tonight. We will see you back here tomorrow.
Good night.